Hey y'all, hey, welcome to But Also, the Real Talk podcast for real life moments. If this is your first time joining us, this is your host, G Dazzle. Some of y'all know me as G Daz, but most of y'all just know me as G, your girl, your friend, your sis who is here to keep it real with you. And so here on this podcast, what we talk about, we get into life's real moments that don't always fit into a neat little box. So we really talk about both sides of the coin, where two truths can exist, those yes and moments of life. Like Black History Month is upon us, but I'm also Black 365 a year. So here we keep it light, we keep it real, and we keep it all the way honest. So you're going to get some laughs, you'll get a couple of kikis, and maybe even a moment or two where you be like, dang, G, you just going to read my life like that? Yes, I am. But that's okay, because we're all living the same life, boo. And so whether you're out here trying to figure it all out, or just trying to make it through today, I got you. So we'll talk about the highs, the lows, and all of the messy moments in between. All right, so let's get into it. All right, y'all. Today we are bringing the flavor, literally. And when I tell y'all, those who know me know that I am a foodie, baby. I am a foodie, and I am so excited. So today I have with me a culinary powerhouse, a professionally trained chef, instructor, and catering extraordinaire who is out here blessing taste buds and passing down knowledge. So y'all join me in welcoming Chef Meya Hill to the show.
Thank you, Karen. I appreciate it.
I'm so happy you're here, girl. So also, I just want to give another special shout out, y'all. Not only is she chef here, but also my bestie, my big sis. So y'all, my heart is so full. So it's going to be a good time on this show today. And so before we even get into it, Chef Meya, I also call her Mimi. So that I may slip y'all, but Chef Meya, I have to ask, what is the one dish that instantly makes you feel at home?
That's a great question. You know what? Anything with a good gravy to it, like some oxtails or some beef stew. Those are things, with a little mashed potato on the side.
Love a little tater.
Yes, makes you feel warm. Yes, with a little
Yes.
cornbread. Yes, that's it. That's it right there.
Oh, come on, cornbread. Come on, cornbread. Look.
Cornbread. Yes.
Y'all can't. If you're watching, I'm salivating. If you're not watching, I'm letting you know I'm salivating
Period.
because she had me at gravy and cornbread.
Gravy.
So,
I'm telling you, a good gravy will go a long way for real, for real.
yes. So listen now, I know that chefs, y'all got secrets, but if you could only season with 3 things for the rest of your life, what are you choosing?
Wow.
I'm coming with it.
I'm going to either use, you said seasonings. Oh my God. I'm going to use an Italian seasoning because it's got all the razzle dazzles of the thyme, the rosemary, in there. Because you got to have the herbs in there. And then I'm probably going to use that body seasoning, the complete saison. Yes, because it's got the garlic, the salt. It's got, the onion powder, garlic powder. It's got those things in there. So I'm probably going to use that. And to round it off, I probably would go with the paprika. Smoked is my favorite. Okay. But I'd probably go with a regular paprika. Yeah, those would be the ones I would choose.
Okay, so we have Italian seasoning, we have the Suzanne seasoning, and then a smoked paprika.
Paprika.
Those are solid because I promise I was probably today years old when you started busting out the ingredients that made up Italian seasoning. So thank you for sharing those tidbits of rosemary and thyme because those are some heavy hitters. I think rosemary is so underutilized. So
I agree.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So let's take it back a little bit. So when did you first realize that food was more than just food, but like a story, a culture, and a legacy?
Honestly, when I started using food to pursue people, I used food to kind of fill people's bellies. I was kind of interested in a certain person. And so I decided to start cooking their favorite dishes. And from there, it just kind of grew. I started exploring and finding other dishes that I wanted to cook and try out. And from there, it's grown so much bigger. A lot more people love my food. And so therefore I decided this was what I wanted to do in my life. And there is nothing more happier than that for sure.
I love that. I love that so much. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
And as we think about, the show's theme, especially with Black history, we talk a lot about Black history in the making, and soul food is such a huge part of that history.
Yes.
So, for our listeners out there, can you break down some of those origins of soul food and how it became such a staple in Black culture?
So, of course, soul food, it came with us. Soul food has been with us from the beginning. If you go back to slavery, using what we have, that's the beginning of soul food, is using it and cooking it slow and making something out of nothing. That in itself is soul food. Something that's going to stick to you, something that's going to last long. That is the history of soul food in itself.
Thank you for bringing that point up. And as you said that, it makes me think about this, where a lot of folks don't realize that soul food does come from resourcefulness and resilience. Like you mentioned before, our ancestors, how we were able to turn those scraps into a masterpiece, right? And so just thinking about that, what is a dish that people might not know the history behind, but has deep roots in Black culture?
I want to say, period. I would say for me, I wouldn't say a necessarily dish, but I would say the symbolism of some of the things that we eat.
Okay.
Of course, New Year's, we always go with a black-eyed pea. We may go with a collard green. We may go with a red bean or a white bean. But those actual meals actually were like, they had significance like money. They had significance like luck. They, the colors, depending on what it was, like a red kidney bean, it meant love. So instead of giving things monetarily, of course, we probably didn't have money back then. We used food as a way to let someone know that you love them or that you cared about them. And that's what I definitely appreciate about food, is that I can use it to let someone know that I love them. I put my love in the food, and so they're able to eat my love. I hope that doesn't sound like weird.
No, that doesn't sound weird at all. They always say like the way to somebody's heart is through their stomach.
Yes.
So no, that makes perfect sense. And you're so right. For those who may not be familiar, especially in Black culture, when that clock comes around to strike 12 midnight, you better have those black-eyed peas boiling and them greens gone, where the peas do mean luck and the greens for money. Girl, there was one I heard the other day where it's just like, if you're single, you got to get underneath the table and eat a grape.
Eat a grape. And one grape, you got to eat like, it's a certain number, like, I want to say 12 or 8 or something like that. It's just not one grape. Yeah, child. It's more than one.
Lord.
Yeah,
Not
child.
a whole bunch of.
You got to eat more than one. Yeah.
Well, so it's for my single folk out there, and you've heard it from Chef Mimi herself. It's not just one. Go get you a bunchel.
Get you a little,
find the love of your life.
Little small little something, the more the merrier.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And something else that you said, Mia, that really resonates with me is when you said that basically cooking almost, is a symbolism of love. And that's so true. And I've talked about this with you before. Those who are also close to me know that I've had this conversation with them as well. And, your girl, for those who may not know, your girl dibbles and dabbles in the kitchen a little bit. I wouldn't say chef level, but, I can make something that tastes good. However, I've realized that I have a little bit of a toxic friendship trait. And that is, if I cook something for you or prepare something for you and I offer it to you, even if it's just a taste, and even if I don't cook it, if I offer it to you and you say no, to me, you have rejected my love. And I take it personal. Like, I give you a whole side-eye attitude. And it's something that I'm a work in progress, y'all. I'm working on this. But it's so crazy that you said that, it is a symbolism of love. So it's just like, y'all, don't be rejecting my food because you rejected me. I take it personal.
I feel you on that. I want to piggyback off of that. My grandmother cooked for my grandfather. And she made food for him quite often throughout the week after working all day. And you had to eat when it came directly, immediately. It had to be eaten. Like, and you
Fresh,
got to
fresh out the grease, off the
fresh out the
burn my
grease.
hand. Burn
Period.
my, I don't
That's
need taste buds.
you
Burn it.
got to
Put it in my
no,
hand.
don't taste it. Just eat it. Consume
Yes.
it. So yeah, that's how I was raised. So my grandma is like you. If you don't eat my food when I say it's done,
Yeah.
then there's an issue. And I'm like that
You don't
too.
love me. You
You
don't
don't love
love
me.
me.
Yeah, my wife is like I've gotten better about not forcing my wife to be like, eat now. So now I don't take as much offense to it. But before I did, her and my son, I'm like, no, you gotta eat right now. Like, it's important. Don't let my
Yeah.
food get cold. That's disrespectful. You gonna put it in the microwave? How dare you?
You're,
Uh,
the
the
audacity.
audacity to warm my food back up when it was just hot. How rude.
Yes. You missed the essence of the first initial right off of like when everything was
Right.
all just right, juicy and hot and flavorful. You missed it.
Why would you do that? That's disrespectful.
And don't let it be a dish that I've tried for the first time or a dish that took some time because,
Honey,
depending on the level of the complexity of the dish, like
honey,
if I enslaved over this dish and I put my all in it, I'm over here sweating, my back hurt, my feet hurt, and I offer it to you to let you know it's ready, and you tell me, "Oh, no, I'm good." What? You not good? Not today?
right.
No, no. You
Or
just
I
told
got
me
one
I
better
don't,
for
I
you.
don't love you anymore.
I got one better for you. You taste it and you be like, oh, it's all right.
All
All
right,
right.
all
Can you give me, can you elaborate? It smell good.
off
It
with
tastes
their
good.
head. Off with their head. All right.
Period.
That's all you
Period.
got to say. All right.
All right.
And I didn't use some new techniques, busted out some different knife skills and everything. And all you tell me is off with their head. They gotta go.
Period. This ain't
They
salt and
gotta
pepper
go.
that you just using here, baby. This is some seasoning. Some love
Okay.
went
I
into
listened
this.
to the ancestors until they
Period.
told me to stop. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, at that point, I'd be like, you know what? Get out. Just get out.
Yeah.
Just that'd be the first and last meal I prepare for you. Get out.
Period.
Off with their head. So, oh y'all. So that's just like I'm a work in progress, y'all. I am. So, but I'm aware that I have this toxic friendship trait, but I'm a work in progress. And those that are a part of my village know that, and they love me either way, and I appreciate y'all.
Mhm. Definitely.
So, yes. So now we're going to flip it because we see, soul food is evolving. And how do you see modern Black chefs putting their own spin on some of these classic dishes while still honoring tradition?
I think that that's a great question. And it's also important. For me personally, you have to be able to evolve the dishes that you make. Uh, if you just still putting, for me, and it's my own personal challenge. If I'm still just putting a pot of greens on with the hog mugs or the piece of meat in there, and I'm not elevating it and cooking it a little bit better, it's one to actually perfect it, but to make it better, that's always a challenge for me. I always want to make it better, and to gain new customers, you have to figure out how to be able to give them a new taste, a new sound of things that they're just not aware of how they taste. Yeah, this last weekend, I worked with House of Ba on a capstone for some their intercultural community where they're immigrants. So they're from different countries. Kenya, Tanzania, Egypt, Iraq, Iran, things of that nature, and they're all women. And there were a couple of men there as well. And so what we did was is we flipped their cultural dishes into fine dining. And so a lot of them were like, "Oh no, we can't do it that way because it's not it's not the real dish." And what we had to get them to understand is that we want to, yes, pay homage to your culture. We want to pay homage to, fried fish, but we want to elevate that fried fish so that it meets someone else where they are and what they think of fine dining is, because you elevated it. You made it better. You've been creative with it. You know what I'm saying? So, food is art. It's not just to consume, but it's also a visual as well.
Yeah, and that's so true that you said that because my inner foodie spirit definitely appreciates that. And food is art. And nowadays, especially as we think about the digital age that we're in, when it comes to food. And if it's something that the plate presentation looks amazing, or if the food just looks bomb.com, period, guess who eats first? The camera. The camera gets to eat first. And people right now, you eat with your eyes before you eat with your mouth. So it's just like, it's got to look good. It got to look bussin' before I even take a bite of it. So it's just like being able to understand the artistry of that. That doesn't mean that the flavors are not there, but if something doesn't look appetizing, it can be a turnoff. It can. And because of that, you're already turned off visually before you even get to experience the deliciousness of all the flavors that, hit your palate. So that's so interesting that you mentioned that. And that's exactly where my mind went to, as I am one as well who does, I like to do a food review from time to time myself, and I definitely eat with my eyes first.
Yeah. It's not only this, that. It's not, I want it all. Give it to me because that's what I'm paying for. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And I think that's such a key element, especially when you are taking those cultural cuisines and elevating them. And like you said, when you're elevating something, you are able to expand the exposure of that dish and the exposure of the cultures and the flavors that are prominent for them. So, my inner foodie, I don't care the price. Like if it's good and you're giving me an experience, like I'll pay for it from the beginning to end. If my taste buds are on a journey and I am transported somewhere and I'm still tasting it 3 days later, like, oh, baby, me and my stomach had a time. Okay. So I appreciate that. And so, no, I definitely think that makes a difference, so much so, as you said, as we think about even the cost of that experience, like it's worth it. So, hey, like charge me up because I pay for it.
I will pay for a good soul food, but at the same time, like you have to bring your A game. Whatever your A game is, bring your A game to the table. Even when you send it to me in a styrofoam to go, bring your A game. Let me know that you put some care into what you're serving me. Like I want to see you and the items that you're presenting to me from your love to me. Yes, that's important to me. Like don't serve me crap. I require myself to give presentations to my best capability. I'm always critical about what I do and how I do it. And so I want you to be the same way when you serve your food. Be critical. How can I elevate it more? How can I do this better? How can I sell that plate to make more money? And if people can't get what you're getting, then they're not your audience. And that's okay. But the way in which food and prices are going up, people have to step up their money too. I'm just saying. We can't get the homie hookup all the time. I gotta feed my family too. If I'm taking the time out to do all this for you, that's time I'm away from my family and my friends, and you gotta pay for my time. Period.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you mentioned that because I feel that's such a great segue to my next question here. And it's really kind of going into your teaching aspect. So, in teaching your culinary students while also running a business, how do you balance being rooted in tradition, but also pushing the boundaries in the kitchen?
That's a great question. I always try to elevate my students or try to make them understand that there's no one way to do things. Yes, there's your traditional way, but I dare you to research other ways and to do what you want to do. You can bake bread the regular way, but then you can also add some razzle dazzle in there to make it even better, to make that bread better. And what does that look like for you? How did you research it? I always tell my students, research. The best way into gaining better knowledge about what you're cooking is to research. Then it's also a great talking point. Then you can say, hey, look, I made this bread. This flour came from such and such and such. This originated from this place. Those are great talking points to be able to tell your customers. People love food knowledge. And so while they're eating, they're like, oh yeah, this came, that's something else that they can, talk about at the table while you're gone. So I always challenge my students to elevate, research, and figure out a better way to do it. And also learn the fine dining way as well. It kind of sucks that how we as Black people cook food, they took that and elevated to a French cuisine way, and put a lot of French terminology on a lot of the things that we normally do. such as rolling your collard greens up and cutting them into little slits. It's called a chiffonade. We've been doing that for years. Nobody's never put a term on it. Cut them greens up. Your mama just tell
That's
you,
all.
cut them greens up. You already
Sure
know what
did.
you about to do. But when you get into a kitchen, a bigger kitchen, chiffonade, I need this in a chiffonade. That's what that is. Yeah. So I try to give them a little bit of technique, a good little bit of terminology, so at least they're prepared enough to be able to get out here in the world and be able to hang, because the kitchen world is brutal. The kitchen world is not set up for Black people. The kitchen world is not set up for Black women. It is a white man's world. I'm sorry, not sorry. That is history. And I'm trying to figure out why that is, because there are a lot of Black women and Black men out here that are doing the damn thing and not getting the recognition because they're not sitting in a Fleming's or a Ruth Chris. You know what I'm saying? They're not sitting in those particular restaurants making and cooking food. They're doing their damn thing outside of the area. And I really feel like there is a market for us to be able to display our food and not pigeonhole ourselves in just soul food, not just frying a chicken, not just, barbecuing a slab of ribs. Be able to elevate our food in a way in which we can make our money for our people, but also make that money from other people as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that you said that, especially with Black chefs, men and women, that the idea of not being pigeonholed. Just because I am Black doesn't mean that's all that I know how to cook. It's
Yes.
just soul food based. Whereas
Yes.
just like my background may be, African American, but I may take fare to Italian cuisine, or I may
Right.
have a niche of, Asian cuisine, or,
That's
I'm
right.
the bomb.com in Latin. So
Right.
it's just like not being able to, not necessarily not being able to, but being able to expand your horizons, where it's just like, because of your talents, why
Yes.
would you not want to expand your craft as much as possible to reach the bellies of so many people and so many other cultures where we have so much to share?
Yes.
So I like that you brought that up, because I do think, especially sometimes within, I don't even want to say within the Black community, but just in general, when people do see Black chefs, that is something, a knee-jerk reaction
Yes.
is that they just focus on soul food.
Yes.
And whether it's elevated or not, that's it. Like, that's
Yes.
the expertise, and that's all, and that's it.
Yes.
And that's definitely not the case. There's so many talented people out there dabbling in so many other cuisines that have trainings and have traveled the world to
Yes.
make sure that what they've learned and what they've experienced, they're able to share out, and also give homage to those other cultures at the same time.
Yes. I agree 100%. I never want to be, it used to bother me that people were like,
Mm.
well, what kind of soul food do you cook? And I was like, excuse me,
Mm.
what kind of soul food do you cook? I don't just cook soul food. It's part of me. It's who I
Yeah.
am. Yes, I can cook that, but I'm going to give you something I'm going to give you something completely different with soul food. And I don't, just because it's Black History Month, that don't mean I want to make you soul food. I want to make you something else. I want to make you something that complements something in Africa
Yeah.
that's culture. That's Black history as well. Some African food and not just jollof rice.
Right.
Why when you think about
Right.
Africa, you think about jollof rice,
Yeah.
or fufu and the goosey. Like there's so many other dishes that you can make that, just that's pigeonholing people. I don't like
Yeah.
to be pigeonholed. I absolutely, it doesn't bother me like it used to, but to pigeonhole me and say, oh, because you're Black, you only fry chicken and cook fish. You know what I'm saying? No, I do way, way more. And I love to do way more.
I love that. I love that. And even with that, it's just like, it also makes me think of like various fusions. Like, I love a good fusion dish where it's just like, let's intertwine these flavors,
Oh,
because let's be real, because some of these new school remixes, especially on soul food, have some people giving some side eyes to their plates. So
yes.
what's a twist on a classic dish that you absolutely love, and one that you're like, we didn't need to do that. That didn't need to happen.
I'm going to give the twist on a dish. You know what?
Mhm.
Anytime they not just serving me macaroni and cheese, when you put a little crab in there, a little
Mhm.
scrimps, that
Mhm.
seafood mac, That's a good one. Keep that one. Keep that one.
I
Keep
do
that
like that. A
one.
good lobster mac.
Good lobster mac.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
those mac and cheese, those creations have come a long way
Yeah.
from just giving me Big Mac. Let's see, one that I they could keep. Honestly, I'm not a chitlin fan, period. And I've seen people candy that somebody has candy and chitlins, dog. I don't know who.
Stop it.
Yes,
Stop. You know they not.
candy chitlins.
Keep it. They didn't. That did not need to happen.
Who is candy and
Candied,
chitlins? Why? Why would you do that?
candied and chitlins.
They don't even go
That
together.
that sentence you just said to me is wild.
Disrespectful.
Those are words in a sentence that I never thought that I would hear in that order
Candy
that you
chitlins.
just said.
I mean, they candy and the pig feet too. So, it's not just the chitlins. They doing the feet, the ears. Yeah, it's on TikTok. Yeah.
Now it's
promise
on
you.
TikTok,
It's on
y'all. So
TikTok.
TikTok be putting us in these rabbit holes. So,
Dude.
if you need to do your research yourself, go ahead and TikTok candied, candied chitlins
Candy
and
chitlins.
pig feet,
Yeah.
and just certain. I don't think that everything needs to be candied. Like, we got a candied jam or candied bacon. That's fine. I don't think the other parts and pieces need to be candied per se.
I agree.
So yeah, baby, when I tell you that is not one that I expected you to say, my mind is trying to skate past it, but I had to sit with it for a second, like candied, like what? Candied chitlins?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh Lord.
Yes.
I mean, if those who are familiar with the chitlin process in general, in terms of prepping a chitlin,
Yes.
which is the internal part of the pig, and in Black culture, it is something that became with us. And Mia, definitely correct me if I'm wrong. Once again, stemming from slavery times, where once again we made best with the scraps that we had, and when it came to the pig or the hog, we ate it from the rooter to the tutor and made it a meal for us. And so chitlins, which is once again that internal intestine of the pig, we made the best with it, what we did. And so it is something within the culture that has a little bit of I'm going to say like a backseat staple of soul food. Definitely that kind of homegrown, old school Southern soul food. But I would definitely say it's a dish, for me, I would say, that has maybe dropped off a little bit as we've kind of progressed over the years. Like, hey, we have access to so much more now. We don't need to eat the chitlin as much as we used to.
I don't think that it dropped off. I think that a lot of people are just omitting it, maybe, or maybe we're not in the South enough to know that they're still like eating chitlins like they do
maybe
the raccoon and the possum too. You know what I'm saying? Like, so,
true.
So yeah, I still have people that I know that still eat chitlins and clean chitlins.
God bless them. And that's definitely where I was going with that. Is just like with the process of cleaning a chitlin, it is a process, and it's not a fun smell. So getting into that process, and then furthermore taking it a step further to candy it. I can only imagine.
Yes.
And I'm gonna leave it at that with my imagination, and not something that I see myself trying in the future.
Nope.
However, to the chitlin eaters out there, if you are still chitlin eating, I do pose a question out to you. Are you down for the candy chitlin? Would you be down to try it, or is it a hashtag or no?
Let me know how I taste. Hit me up. Let me know, because I'm not gonna do it. I'm all about trying new things, but that's just not one of those things I'm going to try. Sorry, but not sorry.
Yeah. So definitely, that may be a poll in the show notes. Candy chitlins or no? You down? Or is it good, or is it hell no to the no? So definitely let us know. Oh my goodness. So Mia, so with that, I can definitely say I feel like Black chefs have always been the backbone of American cuisine.
Yes.
Yet they don't always get the shine that they deserve. And it's even from our conversation that we've had thus far, I feel like we've touched on that a little bit. So What has your experience been like navigating the culinary world as a Black woman?
It has definitely been interesting. I think anytime I step into a room, one, the expectation is that I don't know what I'm doing. And that, yes, how I've gotten into those rooms have been through my previous job and or the people, the connections that I have made. And they are male. Some of them have been female. But it afforded me the ability to get into those rooms and be able to navigate and see like, this is what I want to do. And this is how I want to elevate it, because it's really hard here in Nebraska. Yeah, if you're not a particular color or you're not cooking with just salt and pepper, sorry, not sorry. And so,
Okay.
yeah, I think a lot of people are just not ready for their palates to be challenged. That's about the
Mm.
best way I could say it. People are just not ready to have their palates challenged. And it's not all about the Lowrys. It's about the care in which you take to cook the food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a hard, heavy hitting line you said there, and I don't think you could have said it more perfectly the way that you did. Um, in terms of those not necessarily ready for their palate to be challenged. And when you said that, for some reason, it made me think about, and this is not a dig to my picky eaters. Everyone has their own tastes and food preferences, but it makes me think about those who may go to a fine dining restaurant, or not even a fine dining restaurant, but a different cuisine type of restaurant outside of American cuisine, and they're already looking for the menu for things for where are the chicken fingers and French fries at, or where's the burger at. I'm like, but we're at an Italian restaurant, or we're at a
Right.
French restaurant. They
Right.
have a different type of, they got a lamb chop. That's too much. And it's just like, just being able to have the openness to at
Yes.
least try it before saying, already having the mental block of nope, can't do it.
Yes.
I already know I'm not gonna like it, or it's gonna be too much of a flavor explosion. So,
Yes. Yes.
but I definitely feel, with eating cuisines of all cultures around the world, I think having that openness is
Yes.
is very key. And being the foodie that I am, for me, I always feel like there are two definitions of people when they say that they're foodies. There are those who just like to eat all of the food and like to eat a lot, versus those who actually appreciate the various taste, or
Yes.
like I said, take my palate on a journey, like
Period.
expose me. Where are we traveling to? What's the
Yes.
experience you want my palate to have? If you're
Yes.
cooking with an ingredient that's unique, like if you say, oh well, we're doing lavender encrusted tilapia, then I want to be hit in the face with lavender. Like
Period.
I want to do that. I want to feel that. So
Yes.
it's just like blow my palate out to the roof.
Period. Yeah. I
Blow
think
it
it
out.
also is important that when you go to those restaurants, those fine dining restaurants, and you have people that are picky eaters, I always try to send the menu in advance so that you
Mm,
have your choice and you know what you want before you come. And
yeah.
if it's something you can't find, then you need to have to go. You're not going to
Yeah.
mess up my experience by
Mm,
coming
yeah.
and complaining about they ain't got no chicken fingers and hamburgers on the. No, dog. That's why I sent you the menu beforehand so that
Yeah.
you would know that that's not the type of setup that we about to do. So yeah, it's important research. If there's
Yeah.
Indian food that I have never had before, I always look at the reviews.
Hmm.
I don't always go by the reviews, but I always look at the reviews just to see what people enjoyed.
Yeah.
Looking for the enjoyment ones. I'm not looking for the negative ones. And then from there, I'll be like, hey, can I try this? And then let me try this and this as well. You know what I'm saying? So that I get a better experience for myself. And I know, okay, yeah, that was a good dish. You know what I'm saying? I will go back and eat that one again. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, it's all about the research again. It's all about getting to know and trying new things. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. When you said, see, now you got me craving Indian food. Cause I do look, the food in me appreciates it all. And Indian,
Honey,
look, a good samosa, or
honey,
some chicken tandoori. Look,
honey.
if you haven't had a chance to experience Indian cuisine, I absolutely encourage you to. And I also feel like, don't let the stereotype of, oh, it's automatically spicy, that
No,
I can't now. It does have a kick.
it do.
However, you can make requests to
Yes.
adjust it, especially for a first time try. But
Yes.
I still very much encourage you to try the cuisine, because I
Yes.
have had me some delicious Indian treats. I'll
I'm
tell you
telling
that
you.
much.
And there's nothing
Um,
like eating with your hands, Indian food, eating with your hands. This is not a knife and fork type of setup. Like, you need to get in
yeah.
there with that naan bread and just like
Woo.
go for it, child. Go for it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a garlic cheese naan.
Uh,
Ooh, child.
or the cheesy cheese one, the cheesy naan. Oh
Woo.
my God.
Yes. And for those who don't know, naan is a Indian bread.
Yes.
And it can be prepared in different ways, whether with garlic or cheese or the combination of so. And I believe there's a certain way that it is prepared.
Yes.
I'll let Chef Meya talk about
I
that.
mean,
But if you're not familiar with the dish, just to give you a background, it is a bread dish.
I'm not going to explain it to you. I'm going to have you research it. Research. You
Period.
tell me what naan is.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
So another poll question for the people. So the first one is for my chitlin eaters. Are we rocking with candy chitlins or no? And those for my newbies who are thinking about trying and dipping into new cuisine. Uh, when did we try our some naan and did we enjoy it? Like,
Mhm.
figure it out what it is. But I guarantee if you don't like anything, oh, that naan's gonna do it.
Yes, the naan will do it, definitely.
Yes, yes. And so, Mia, as we think about even from your teaching aspect, like you're teaching the next generations of chefs, what would you say is the most rewarding part of seeing young Black chefs really step into their power?
It's great you say that. I want to give a shout out to one of my students. Her name is
Okay.
Jordan. Jordan, finds a way to get places and spaces. Um, she doesn't have a car, but she's going to be there and she's going to get it done. She's currently in Metro right now. Um, and it is snowing currently in Omaha, Nebraska. And that baby was looking for a ride today to figure out how she could get to school so that she could finish her final for her culinary, so she can get her culinary degree. Like, those are people that I appreciate. She's a woman, she's doing it, and nothing's going to stop her. And I've come into a lot of contact with a lot of students that are like that. Those are, for me, diamond in the roughs, or they don't know what they want to do. And this pushes them to figure out what they want to do, what their next journey is. And it may not be culinary, but they took some nuggets out of what was taught to figure out what they exactly wanted to do with their world and what their life. And for me, that's important because yes, I had people to push me along, but I still didn't know what I wanted to do. I want the students that I teach to know that the sky is the limit and there's money to be made for everybody. Period.
Yeah.
And we have so many treasures as far as cooking in our pocket. We're just not aware of how to use those treasures to reach other people. And so I always challenge my students to reach into what you have and make it more so that it reaches more people. That's definitely
I
important.
love that. Well, shout out to Jordan for the determination, grit, and drive. Like, and I think that's so important to have, especially when you are chasing your dream, your passion, and owning your craft. You don't let nothing stop you and get in your way. Not
And
even a little bit of snow, or in this case, in Nebraska, a lot of bit of snow.
that
So,
part.
shout out to Jordan for doing it, girl. Keep
And,
on pushing, sis. Keep on
and
pushing. I know that's right.
it's,
Ah, and so, since we're also, we've been talking about this, talking about making history, who are some of the Black chefs, past or present, that inspire you?
I have some current ones that are inspiring me by their drive. Jordan Inman being one of those, Reinvention being another one. These are current ones. There is a Chef Tregay that won on Food Network. She really is inspirational. I love her creativity. And just to see the creativity that she comes up with as far as doing her catering, like I want to be on that level, like to be able to utilize wood and different, smoke aspects and things like that. Yes, that is the creativity is wonderful. So she definitely inspires me. There's so many. Jeez Louise. There's so many. Like some of my Black female students, and I may not name all of their names, but the ones that are out here go getting, they inspire me to keep going. Like the fact that I get like texts from them, hey chef, just wanted to tell you this is going on, or I'm on Facebook and I see them moving and grooving. Like that's inspiration to me. That lets me know that um they're moving forward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My hope and prayer for anybody that I have met or have touched is that you get what you need in your life, and that you get what you deserve in your life. The greatest to the times infinity. Like you get what you deserve, because yeah, everybody needs that in their life. Everybody needs that push in their life for sure.
Yeah. No, and that's beautiful to hear. And, especially as someone who is an educator in that realm, especially in the culinary arts. And I think just in general, anyone that you teach, you want to make sure, or at least the hope is that you've made an impact in a way that they needed and that allows them to continue their journey and move forward. It's like you always want, if you're teaching someone or mentoring them, it's just like, I want you to succeed. I want nothing but the best for you. Like, I want,
Once,
be better than me. Like, I want to see that. And
well,
it's just like, and if I just had the pleasure of having a small inkling of an impact that helped guided you along your way to find your journey, your passion, or your drive, or just if it was the shoulder, the lift up that, or the step up that you needed, then I've done my job. I've done my job, and so I know that has to be very rewarding to you when you see your students go on and they're doing the damn thing and they're succeeding and they found their way in their niche and, cooking to their little heart's desires in whatever lane that they're in.
yeah, definitely. It does my heart well, definitely, and it actually motivates me to continue with my catering business and being able to touch more people, more students. I want to be able to do classes in other forms so that I'm able to still, touch a college student that don't even know how to make noodles in the microwave. You know what I'm saying? They getting ready to go to college and they just need a little extra little something, you know what I'm saying? To learn how to just make basic things in their college dormitory. You know what I'm saying? Those are things that I want to do. I want to make sure that you have some skills, some little nuggets to take with you when you go off, so that you don't have to keep calling mama and ask her to send you later in McDonald's.
Mm,
So you know what I'm
mm.
saying? That's important to me to teach those things so we are equipped to be well. We as in Black people, we are equipped to do well in this world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I definitely believe those little gems and nuggets will make all the difference and have, y'all, I've had the pleasure of myself of being able to sit in on a couple of classes of Chef Mia's teachings. And my mind is always blown in terms of the things that I've learned. Y'all, I learned how to make a chicken tender. And let me tell
Oh,
you, not just like any chicken tender. I'm talking about I made a chicken tender. I made the cut of a chicken tender
yes,
from actually deboning a whole chicken. Y'all,
yes,
look, Canes, look, all you Zaxby, come for me, because y'all ain't messing with my tenders no more. Like
period.
that changed my life, and so it's just like even then, still, I've always walked away with learning something, and then there are cooking principles and techniques that to this day I still keep with me. So it's very important what you do, no matter the scale of what it is, the basics or even the extravagant. It's very impactful. So I definitely want to give you your chef's flower or a wooden spoon
I appreciate that.
in honoring you for that and your work that you do. So,
Thank you.
all right, you are super welcome, super welcome. All right, so it's time for a little bit of rapid fire. We're gonna do the foodie edition.
Okay,
So, are you ready?
let's do it.
All right. So, sweet potato pie or peach cobbler?
Sweet potato pie.
All right. Okay.
I'm
Fried chicken or catfish?
gonna go with that fish, fried
The
fish.
fish? The
Mm,
fish? Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So, go to meal when you're not in the mood to cook.
I'm a breakfast person. I will eat breakfast 24/8, not 7/8. A good fried egg, a good scrambled egg with some toast and some bacon or some
Mm.
oatmeal. Yeah, a good breakfast anytime 24/8. I'm down for it. That is, I will literally sometimes make a full meal for my wife and my son, and I will literally taste what I've eaten, and then later on I'll make me an egg, and my wife gets mad at me because I don't eat what I made until tomorrow. Yeah, yeah.
It be like that sometimes. And look, I am not against a good Brenner. I am
Mm-hmm.
not against them. Like, And I'll even go as low, it's not even necessarily cooking, but honey, a good bowl of cereal has done the job as well. So I'm like,
Period.
look, I am not above it. A nice little egg sandwich, a little egg
Mm-hmm.
sammy will do
Some
the
quick.
job.
Some quick.
Mighty fine.
Yes.
With a little slice of cheese on it, a treat.
Yes.
A treat. Okay. So your dream dinner guest, dead or alive?
Mm, man, I would love to honestly sit down. You said, does it have to be a celebrity?
Nope, I said dead or alive. It could be. I
Oh,
didn't even say celebrity. Just your
so
dream dinner
I've
guest.
never met my great grandmother, my grandmother's mother, but I was actually having a conversation with my mother today about this, and the way in which my mother was describing my great grandmother, how resourceful she was. Um, I would love to actually sit down with her, and I would love to get those teachings, from her. Um, yeah, just to see what kind of stuff she used to cook, how she cooked, how she developed things. Those are important things to me. To be able to make a meal out of nothing. Those are the best meals when you make something out of nothing. Though you can't beat those something out of nothing meals. I promise you, they be the best meals, and then you never create them again because that's something. It's just there. It's just that. um,
Absolutely.
Someone else I probably would want to sit down with and eat. I want to sit down with Barack and Michelle Obama. No lie.
Okay.
I want to sit at their table and like just have normal conversation. It ain't got to be political. Like I don't
Yeah.
know why, but they're very inspirational to be
Yeah.
people of color that actually sat in the White House. Like I just want to sit at I want to sit at a table. That's the table I want to sit at. I want to be able to just sit with them and just be like, hey, let's just have a meal. Let's just talk. Let
Yeah.
them inspire me. Keep inspiring me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would love to do. Yeah.
Oh, I love both of those answers, especially with the great great grandmother. And it just makes me think, a cultural saying that we say sometimes, especially when it comes to cooking, is, well, what's the recipe? What are the ingredients? How much did you put into it? And a lot of that comes from, as we say, I just listened to the ancestors. I listened
Mhm.
until they told me to stop seasoning. Like
Yeah.
that's enough. Neither was a pinch of this or a taint of that or
Yeah.
just a little sprinkle of this. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that doesn't give you the exact, 1/4 teaspoon versus that. It's just like, no, you just listen to whatever is within you that the ancestors have taught you. So it's just like thinking about that. And even as you said, making something out of nothing. The type of cooking that I do myself, I've always categorized myself as a cabinet cooker.
Uh,
Basically, whatever's in the cabinet, I'm cooking. I don't know what it's going to be, but all I know that it's going to be delicious. It's going to be good. No, it doesn't have a name. I totally made it up. And I just pulled out a meal out of something. And I think that also is such a testament, once again, of our background and just us as a culture where, once again, I think about, even the shows of like Good Times, like Scratching and Surviving, like we have literally are the masters of making something out of nothing, whether it's
nothing.
food, experiences, or whatever. We
Yes.
always do it to the best of our ability. So it's
Yes.
just like that is where we shine and we make magic that way. We are
Yes.
magical. So those are just some of the things that crossed my mind as I was listening to you share about wanting to have your great grandmother as your dinner guest. So I think that is beautiful, and I think that'd be an amazing dinner. And probably, honey, will probably give you some key keys along the way. Honestly,
I'm telling you, taking them all. I'm writing them down. Let's get it. Let's do it. Yeah. All of
yes,
that.
all of those beautiful gems.
Yeah.
Now, Mia, before we get out of here,
Mm-hmm.
because I want the people to experience your delicious cooking. So tell us a little bit about your catering because we touched on the educational aspect. We
Mm-hmm.
touched on the origins of soul food and just kind of getting into that history. But honey, we got to put the spotlight back on you, child. So tell us a little bit about your catering because the people need to experience your deliciousness. I've had the pleasure of, so I don't want to deprive them either.
So, my catering, well, the Chef Meya Hill, is my LLC. But my catering business is actually called Sweet Moments with the Z. Um, and I do have a Facebook page, for Sweet Moments. Instagram, TikTok, Sweet Moments, is my catering business. If you're looking for not just catering, but if you're looking just for some private chefing or private teaching, you can hit me up on the sweet moments, and I can get that taken care of as well. I don't pigeonhole myself. Yes, I can cook soul food, but I can cook a lot more other food than just soul food. And I want you to just challenge me. Whatever you want to eat, I will fix it for you. And if I can't figure out how to do it, I'm going to figure out how to do it before you get to it.
Okay. And
For
so
sure.
within the Sweet Moments catering, you know, outside of, like I said, we know that you can do soul food. We also know, you know, that your talents expand so much more than that. Are there particular cuisines that you like to play in? Are there certain lanes that you like to experience with? Do you have any, you know, niche cuisines that you're like, hey, I'm a beast in this area too?
You know what? Honestly, since I've been working back with Chef Jamil and House of Ba. I love the African cuisine. It's it's soul food. It's just a
Hmm.
different form of soul food. And so to be able to put spins on soul food with African food, um, I think the marriage is a wonderful thing. I delved into a little bit of Asian culture as well. The commonality between soul food and Asian culture is a wonderful thing as well. You see a lot of people doing a lot of the soul food egg rolls where you got the sweet potatoes and the collards and the meat in those as well. But yeah, just some of the flavors of the Asian culture is a wonderful thing. Same thing with African culture. I'm looking for more of the flavor part, the seasoning part, what they're using, how they're using it to make my food, to elevate what I already know to make it better.
Okay. Okay. And even to delve a little deeper with that,
Mhm.
especially since you're playing in these other cuisines or just in general, if someone was to recommend Chef Mia Sweet Moments, they were like, oh my gosh, you have got to try Chef Mia's blank. What would that dish be? Or
You know
even
what?
top three?
I would say my red beans and rice.
Okay.
If we're gonna do soul food. You know, it's a simple meal, but it's all in how you do it. A good green bean and potato. You you can mess it up. It can taste bland. You got to put the love into it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I have a really mean roasted chicken. I can make it fine dining if it needs to be roasted chicken, but yeah, a good roasted chicken goes a long way. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm great with frying, but I feel like roasting puts more love into it. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like to roast my chicken more than frying chicken.
Okay. Okay. Well, I love that. I love that. As someone who, you know, y'all, if you don't know this about me, your girl's on her health journey. So I try to, you know, keep it right, keep it tight. And so I don't eat a lot of fried foods per se. So having the options of still being able to get that deliciousness in a non-fried way is always going to appeal to me. And I also want to make sure, just, you know, for our vegans and vegetarians out
Yes,
there, don't worry. Chef Mia got something for y'all too. She's holding
yes, I
y'all
do.
down too.
Yes,
She can
yes,
accommodate all palates. So,
yes,
you know, just, you know, give her a try here. And so,
yes.
all right. So before we go, you mentioned it a little bit. I just want to reiterate it again. Tell the people where they can follow you, your journey, and even more so, book you for their next event. Where can they find you?
So I have a Baseki app on our Baseki site. You can go on Baseki look up Sweet Moments. I also have one on Facebook, Sweet Moments, Chef Meya Hill, the Chef Meya Hill. Also Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all going to be Sweet Moments, with a Z, there. So look out for me. You'll see a lot of pictures of what I've done in the past, and some stuff that I'm doing currently as well. So yeah, if you're looking for catering, any kind of food needs, I got you. Just look me up.
Period. Period. And your girl, she shows out for events, y'all. She shows out. I've had the pleasure of being on the receiving end of the catering experience, and when I tell you my expectations were exceeded, baby, like, and I almost don't want to share, but I'm not gonna gatekeep because hey, the table is big enough for all, and there's a
I
lot
see
of
it.
love being in that food, and I want everybody to experience it.
Yeah,
So,
thank
with
you.
that. All right, y'all. That is a wrap on today's episode of But Also, the Real Talk podcast for real life moments. And if you're feeling what you heard, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. We are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and YouTube, so you never miss an episode. And hey, while you're at it, share it with the cousins, share it with your friends who you think will get a kick out of this episode. And if you're a foodie like myself, definitely this is the episode you want to tap into. So with that, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at @budalso_podcast for more real talk, behind the scenes moments, and all of the vibes in between. So thanks for kicking it with me today. And until next time, keep on keeping, keep on thriving and surviving, and embracing all of your moments, the good, the messy, and everything in between. I'll holla.